Right now, for more reaction, of course, on this particular case, we're now joined by political analyst Sandile Swana from the Wits School of Governance. Mr. Swana, thank you very much for agreeing to speak to us this morning. Of course, a lot of people, since the announcement by former President Jacob Zuma that he'd be taking this route in this particular case last year, during conference, by the way, on the eve of the ANC's elective conference, have been saying that this is all a political ploy. Are you in agreement?
Yes, this is part of the political games of the upper class, the ruling class in South Africa. And it has been pointed out that this is part and parcel of the old arms deal that is hanging around the neck of Jacob Zuma and many other comrades. So that's one leg of it. The arms deal is definitely a part of this. The other leg of it is that Jacob Zuma is challenging the current president of the ANC and the ANC itself, the NEC, to say, good fellows, why don't you come along and rescue me from my legal problems? And if you do not do that, I might drag you as well into the legal system and to other political crises. So it is a political fight demanding that the ANC must continue to provide the protection racket that it has provided over the many years, especially Jacob Zuma has been a beneficiary of that.
If he did get the court to rule in his favor, that is Jacob Zuma, of course, as the respondent in this particular part A of the case, he, a lot of people are saying, would have basically had a 1-0 up against the incumbent president because of the step-aside rule in the ANC. And because the president would be appearing in court on a criminal matter, those who are his detractors would be calling for him to step aside. So I guess for now, President Cyril Ramaphosa wins yet again after December.
Yes, I think that what we are saying is that just like Jacob Zuma probably should have gone to jail by maybe 2000, 2008, Cyril Ramaphosa continues to escape the day when he must leave office suddenly. It's not a complete win. We remember that last year there was the insurrection. That insurrection was not just a general insurrection against everybody. It was an insurrection targeting Cyril Ramaphosa to remove him from office, actually, in July 2021, something like that.
Yes.
So all of these things, there are many things that are targeting Cyril Ramaphosa, the Phala scandal and its implications. So it's temporary wins, just like Jacob Zuma is living on temporary wins.
Mr. Swana, a lot of people have been trying to argue whether or not there's still appetite within the ANC, the force called the RET force, etc., and anyone supporting the former president at the moment. A lot of people say that support seems to be dwindling. December would have been a clear indication, and the fact that there were a lot of people who spoke out against this application for a private prosecution against the incumbent. Where do you stand with this, debate?
The issue here that you've got to consider is the nature of the people that are involved. When you look at people like Jacob Zuma and many other comrades, these are people who know nothing else in their lives other than to be activists, to be insurrectionists, to be revolters against the state. Jacob Zuma has got no other career other than that. And there are many like him. That's one. So you must not think they are going to do this thing that they are doing for 5 minutes. It's all they've ever done. This is what gives them life. This is what defines who they are. At the same time, you must bear in mind that there are parts of this country. I have been phoned quite frequently by some of the top academics in this country, by the way, major intellectuals who are supporters of Jacob Zuma. So we must not always think that it is the misguided souls who are ignorant and this and the other thing who support Jacob Zuma. There are people who support that because no matter how you define the cause, but eventually they end up supporting Jacob Zuma. So this is not a thing that's going to take 5 minutes. Cyril Ramaphosa is going to face this for the rest of his career as president of this country.
But is the, are the supporters of the former president still as strong as they used to be within the ruling party?
Are you talking about the RT forces?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, the RT forces lost a significant measure of influence and power in 2017 already. So their power within the party has declined. But remember that Ramaphosa, I think he himself, his election was, I think somebody calculated it at about 56%. So if the people that approved Ramaphosa in Nazareth were 56%. There's 44% that did not approve it. 44 is not far from 50%. 44% can cause a lot of chaos for you as the state president, particularly if your own conduct as the state president leaves much to be desired, such as the Phala case, which they are busy trying to avoid even Parliament questioning what happened there. So there will be issues. The judges have also said he must answer, the current president must answer for Marikana. And they approve that he can be sued for his culpability in Marikana and so on and so forth. So it's not as if the former president, Jacob Zuma, is innocent in any way. And his business partner, by the way, these people were business partners from 2012 when Cyril took over as the deputy president and head of the deployment committee. So the people that Zuma was using to actually ruin the state and empty the state of its capacity were being deployed by Cyril Ramaphosa, and he has never answered for that.
Absolutely. And when you look at it in terms of governance and a governing party, the ANC itself, is this also another clear indication of how the party is dying? Having these two presidents, even, their disagreements play out in the public to a point where one wants to privately prosecute the other? Is it a clear indication of how dead, how dead the ANC is, as some would put it?
I think we've got to accept that the ANC, as things stand now, is no longer the overwhelming majority party. At best, if we're to take Gwede Mandashe's report seriously, it lies between 40% and 48%. If we look at the IEC reports in terms of the local government elections, it will lie between probably 45% and 49%, somewhere in that range. So it is no longer the party of old, which, for instance, when Nelson Mandela went to PE, there were 390,000 people who came to meet him there. And now they will take a stadium that can take about 13,000 people and struggle to fill it. So it's actually on its way down, and that is a decisive downward trend in terms of voter support and in terms of collapsing the economy and collapsing the systems of governance in the country. So there's very little credit to give to the ANC at this point in time.